Professor tried to fail me for cheating until I proved I wrote code he couldn't understand. I walked into Professor Davis's office thinking this was about scheduling my final project presentation. Instead, he had my computer science assignment printed out on his desk, covered in red marks. "Mr. Thompson, we need to discuss academic integrity," he said, not looking up from the papers. "This code is far too sophisticated for a sophomore-level student." I sat down, confused. "What do you mean? I spent 3 weeks writing that algorithm." He leaned back in his chair with that condescending look professors get when they think they've caught you cheating. "This is graduate-level work. The optimization techniques alone are beyond what I teach in my classes. I use dynamic programming and memoization," I said. "We covered those concepts last semester." Professor Davis laughed. "Son, I've been teaching computer science for 15 years. I know when students copy code from GitHub or Stack Overflow. This assignment is getting a 0, and I'm reporting you to the academic review board." My stomach dropped. A 0 on this project would fail me out of the program. "Professor, I wrote every line of that code myself. I can prove it." "How exactly are you going to prove that?" I pulled out my laptop. "I committed every version to GitHub with timestamps. You can see my entire development process." He waved dismissively. "Version control can be faked. Anyone can backdate commits." That's when I opened my second laptop and showed him something that made his eyes widen. "This is my stream from last week," I said, pulling up my Twitch channel. I live streamed the entire coding process. 18 hours of footage, start to finish. Professor Davis stared at the screen, showing me writing the exact same code he had in front of him, line by line explaining my thought process to chat viewers. "You live streamed homework? I have a programming education channel. People watch me solve coding problems and explain algorithms. This assignment got 3,400 views. I played a section where I got stuck on the optimization and spent 40 minutes debugging, talking through different approaches with my viewers. See this part? I'm explaining why the naive approach would be on Kuthebu and how to reduce it to on Kindred using memoization. That's the exact same optimization you said was too advanced." Professor Davis was quiet, scrolling through the video timeline. "And here," I continued, "is where someone in chat suggested a different approach, but I explained why it wouldn't work for this specific problem. Then I implemented my solution and tested it. The video showed me running the code, getting the correct output, and explaining the results to my audience." "How many subscribers do you have?" he asked quietly. "About 12,000. I've been doing this since freshman year." Professor Davis looked at my printed assignment, then back at the stream footage. "Why didn't you mention this before? You never asked. You just accused me of cheating." He spent the next 20 minutes watching different parts of the stream, occasionally pausing to check specific lines of code against my submission. Finally, he closed my laptop and leaned back in his chair. "Mr. Thompson, I owe you an apology. This is clearly your original work." "Thank you. Actually," he said, looking embarrassed, "could you explain how the memoization works? I'm not entirely familiar with that optimization technique." I spent the next hour teaching my professor the algorithm I'd implemented, showing him how dynamic programming could solve similar problems more efficiently. The next week, Professor Davis announced he was revising the curriculum to include more advanced optimization techniques. "One of our students has shown me there are concepts I should be teaching that I wasn't aware of," he told the class. After class, he pulled me aside. "Would you be interested in being a teaching assistant next semester? The department could use someone with your skills." I accepted the TA position and started incorporating examples from my stream into the course materials. 6 months later, Professor Davis subscribed to my Twitch channel. He occasionally drops into my streams to ask questions about new algorithms. Last week, he recommended me for an internship at Google. In his letter, he wrote, "This student taught me as much as I taught him. Sometimes when people can't understand your work, they assume it's not yours. The best defense against ignorance isn't arguing, it's evidence."